the discussion board so that it looks kind of the same. All the functions and everything that you could do before, you can basically still do with just a few little visual tweaks that make it a little easier to understand who said what and what is going on. So we are in the discussion board. To get here, there is a link on the left in most courses, and the same goes for us. That will take you directly there. So we're already there. And this is where you can see the different forums. You can think of a forum as a room where various discussions can take place. So we'll get to kind of that in a second. So these are the different forums or rooms. We have a question room, a lounge room, and so forth. The titles are always here on the left. The description or instructions are always here in the middle. And then over here is just a little bit of information about who is participating. The first number, total post, shows you exactly how many comments have been made. So the exact number of times people have posted. Unread post is exactly what it sounds like, post you have yet to read. And then we have total participants, which is the number of people participating. So though there are 2 posts in here, only 1 person has made both posts. Another example of that is going down to the week 0 introduction. We see that there are 30 posts, but only 12 people who have participated. So those other 18 comments that are happening are just the same 12 people talking back and forth to each other. I'm not going to go into the week introduction so that I can make this a public video without sharing people's names. So we're going to go into the question room, and you enter a forum just by clicking on the title. Once you are inside, you can see the various threads. The various threads are different discussions that are happening. There's only 1 thread right now. If I had a question, for instance, I had a question about the course, I could create my own thread using this big button up here. You hit create thread, and now you can see the forum instructions again, which I think is very helpful, especially when you're doing assignment forums and you're supposed to share a specific thing or answer a specific question. So you can see that while you type. You need to give your thread a name. How do I use discussion boards? I'm not sure. I'm just kind of posting this in here. When you create a thread, or when you make a reply, you're always given the same box where you can change the name of the subject, and you can have all these kind of tools that are in Microsoft Word where you can bold your text or underline it. You can insert an image directly into the text. You can highlight something and make it a web link to another website, which you would type in here. And insert. I'm not going to do that though. And it's all there. You just basically say, hi, Professor Nyland, this is the question that I have, sincerely. And you can save it as a draft if you need to go back and check something, or you can just submit. And now you can see that both threads are there, and you can see that the newest thread is on top. Okay, you can review your thread by clicking on the title, and it is there. I'm going to go into the other thread though because it already has a reply, and that way you can kind of see what a reply looks like versus what a original thread post looks like. So the original thread post is always at the top, and it's always in gray, and it tells you how long ago it was posted. You can choose, if you hover up here, to hide it. Most people aren't going to want to do that, but it is an option. Any reply to the thread will get its own little white box down here. So my answer to your question will usually be its own little white box down here. In another thread, there may be many people who replied to a post. Say there's 2 students who comment on an assignment you posted. So just to show you what that looks like and what replying looks like, we'll hit reply. Again, exact same type of textbook, all the same tools. It's automatically going to say reply to whatever it was that you hit the reply button into. So in this case, how to use the room. So it's replied how to use the room, but you can change that if you want. It's completely editable. Okay. Hello. And submit. So you can see that in this case, the original thread's always at the top. And they're in order chronologically. So the original reply is here. The newest reply is on the bottom. You can also decide to reply to somebody's reply. So say I answer your question or another student comments and says, you know, oh, where did you go to high school or something like that. You can click to reply to them directly. Again, you'll still be able to see everything that's there, which is nice. So maybe they had a whole paragraph and there were 2 or 3 things that you wanted to comment on. You'll be able to see it as you write. I'm just gonna, again, save as a draft, submit, or cancel if you change your mind. Now, the replies to the replies stay in that same box. And this might sound confusing, but basically the person that you are replying to, your reply will be linked to their comment, or your comment will be linked to what they said. So since I wanted to directly comment or have a question about this, it's kind of just like a conversation. You know, I said something to them, and so it is attached to this so that I know that this is in reference to this, not this, not this. This is specifically a reply to whatever this says, if that makes sense. If this is confusing to you, in the other rooms and you don't want to see these side conversations, because this could say, hey, what high school did you go to? And then this person replied, you know, oh, I went to, I don't know, South Carroll. And then somebody replied to that and, you know, they say, hey, I went there too. Who did you have for English or something? It's going to start to stack up, even though there's a completely different post down here in reference to this. So you can choose, if this is confusing and you don't want to see people's side conversations, to hide their replies. And they go away. And that way you can only see what people have said directly to the original post. That is completely 100% a preference, though. When you are all done in here, you can, oh, one other thing, up here in the right-hand corner, you can also search the thread, so you can search for a specific word. So I'm going to say search for hello in the current thread, go. And it's going to bring up those 3 replies that all said hello. When you are done looking at the conversation or participating in that thread, you say okay. It brings you back out to the forum. When you are done in here, you hit OK. But one other thing, up next to create thread, we see that there is a subscribe button. When you hit to subscribe, what that means is that you will get an email every time somebody posts to this forum. Okay? If you ask a question, it's good to subscribe so that you get an email the second that I answer your question and you know that your question has been answered. If you don't want to get an email after that every time somebody else asks a question, then just come back and hit unsubscribe. It's that simple. If you are interested in subscribing to a particular conversation, and this isn't always a choice, each room is different, and you have to select to apply to the entire room, subscribe to the entire room, or it's a room that only allows you to subscribe to individual threads, such as the lounge room. You'll notice that when I go into the lounge room, there's not a button to subscribe to the entire room. However, if I go into one of the individual threads, I can, up here by the search button, now there is a new button there to subscribe to this conversation. So if I go in the lounge room and I say, hey everybody, how's the Super Bowl? And I want to know if somebody answers me, I can select subscribe and I will get emails whenever somebody replies, but only to that conversation, not to the entire lounge room. So that's a nice option to have. And it's just as simple to unsubscribe. You just click it. Again, if you don't want to continue to get emails. Okay, I think that is everything that you need to know. You hit OK and you go again back out to the forum. You can also search the entire forum by using this button up here in the right. So it works the exact same way when you're searching a thread or you're searching a forum. I'm sorry, I said forum, but the entire discussion board, you can choose to search the entire discussion board. So maybe you only want to find post by the professor. And so you type my last name and you hit go. then depending on how fast your internet is, then it'll pull up every post with my name in it. And I'm going to scroll kind of quickly because I have replied to some student postings. And again, I'm trying to keep people's names out of here. So you can choose to filter particular search results, all that kind of stuff. When you are all done, you will just go back to the discussion board up here in the navigation bar over here on the side. There is no back button from inside the search. But that is it. That is probably even a little bit more than you need to know. I think maybe the only other thing that I didn't show you was that you can mark post as read or unread. If you were not the author, which in this particular case, I'm the author for all of these will automatically be set to blue, which means they are unread. And it'll kind of reiterate that over here. When you read them, you can unclick them, or when you reply to one, it'll automatically make it unread. You can also choose to flag a reply so that, say, you're scrolling down a list, it stands out to you more so you can find it again. Okay, now that's everything. With definitely a little extra on how to use the discussion board. So I hope that's helpful to you.